Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavams Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganaragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shivishkam Vidamscha Om Jnana Timarandasya Yanajana Shalakaya Chakshurum Milidam Yena Tasma Shigurabhe Nama Gorva Bistam Sapurakam Gurganara Sisha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipunam Shirupa Patanugam Govinda Bidam Ujwalam Bharatanum Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Mande Vishwagurunsha Divyat Bhagavat Premna Vibija Pradam Devam Divyatanum Suchanda Bharanam Balarka Chelanchitam Sandrananda Puram Sadeka Varanam Vairagya Vidyamburim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Bandetam Shubharam Madeka Sharanam Nishishvara Sridharam Vansha Kopatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavenibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratavishe Namah.
Jai Om Vishnu Paramahansa Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj ki Jai.
So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupad. This is Adi-lila chapter 6, the glories of Sri Adwaita Acharya. I'll begin with verse number 82. Pita Mata Guru Sakka Baba Keninoi Krishna Prema Swabhave Dasya Baba Sekarai. All the emotions, whether of those of father, mother, teacher, or friend, are full of sentiments of servitude. That is the nature of love of Krishna. Ek Krishna Sarva Sevya Jagat Ishwar Arajat Sab Tara Seva Kanuchar. Lord Krishna, the one master and the Lord of the universe, is worthy of being served by everyone. Indeed, everyone is but a servant of his servants. Say Krishna Vatirna Chaitanya Ishwar Atevar Sab Tahara Kinkar. That same Lord Krishna has descended as Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone, therefore, is his servant. Kehomane kehonamane sab taradas jenamane tara hoise papenash. Some accept him, whereas others do not. Yet everyone is his servant. One who does not accept him, however, will be ruined by his sinful activities. Chaitanya radashamui, Chaitanya radas, Chaitanya radas. Dasamui Tara Dasaradas. I am a servant of Lord Chaitanya, a servant of Lord Chaitanya. I am a servant of Lord Chaitanya and a servant of his servants. Etabolinache Gai Hunkara Gambir Kanake Basila Charya Hoya Sustir. Saying this, Adwaita Prabhu dances and loudly sings. Then at the next moment, he quietly sits down. Bhakta Abhiman Mula Shri Balarame Sebhave Anugata Tara Amshagane. The source of the sentiment of servitude is indeed Lord Balaram. The plenary expansions who follow him are all influenced by that ecstasy. So yesterday we were celebrating the divine appearance of Lord Balaram. Tara Avatara Ek Sri Shankarshan Bhakta Boli Abhiman Kore Sarvakan Lord Shankarshan, who is one of his incarnations, always considers himself a devotee. Tara avatara tava avatara ana Sri Yuta Lakman, Sri Ramera Dashati Soquel Anukan. Another of his incarnations, Lakshman, who is very beautiful in opulence, Another of his incarnations, Lakshman, who is very beautiful and opulent, always serves Lord Rama. Sankarshan Avatara Karanabdi Shai Tahara Hridaye Bhakta Baba Anujayi. The Vishnu who lies on the causal ocean is an incarnation of Lord Shankarshan, and accordingly the emotion of being a devotee is always present in his heart. Tahara Prakash Beda Adwaita Acharya Kaya Mano Bhaktyetara Bhakti Sarakarya. Adwaita Acharya is a separate expansion of him. He always engages in devotional service with his thoughts, words, and actions. Bhakti Kohe Mui Chaitanya Anuchar Mui Tara Bhaktamani Babe Nirantar. By his words he declares, I am a servant of Lord Chaitanya. Thus with his mind he always thinks, I am his devotee. Jala tulasi diya kore kayate sevan bhakti prachariya sab tarilab bhuvan. With his body he worshipped the Lord by offering ganges water and tulsi leaves. And by preaching devotional service he delivered the entire universe. Prativehi dharana jay sesha sangarshan kaya vyuha kore koren krishnara sevan. Sesha Shankarshan, who holds all the planets on his heads, expands himself in different bodies to render service to Lord Krishna. Esab hoy Sri Krishnara avatar nirantara deki sabar bhaktirachar. These are all incarnations of Lord Krishna, yet we always find that they act as devotees. Esabake shastre kohe bhakta avatar avatara upari sabar. The scriptures call them incarnations as devotees, bhakta avatar. The position of being such an incarnation is above all others. The Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in different incarnations, but his appearance in the role of a devotee is more beneficial to the conditioned souls than the other incarnations, with all their opulences. Sometimes a conditioned soul is bewildered when he tries to understand the incarnation of Godhead with full opulence. Lord Krishna appeared and performed many uncommon activities, and some materialists misunderstood him. But in his appearance as Lord Chaitanya, he did not show much of his opulences, and therefore fewer conditioned souls were bewildered. Misunderstanding the Lord, many fools consider themselves incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the result is that after leaving the material body, they enter the species of jackals. Persons who cannot understand the real significance of an incarnation must attain such lower species of life as punishment. Conditioned souls who are puffed up by false egotism and who try to become one with the Supreme Lord become Mayavadis. I saw a movie that showed jackals. They were pretty big and they weren't very pretty. Ekmatra Amshi Krishna Amshavatar Amshi Deki Jeshta Kanishta Achar. Lord Krishna is the source of all incarnations, and all others are his parts or partial incarnations. We find that the whole and the part behave as superior and inferior. Jeshta Bhave Amshite Hoy Prabhu Gyan Kanishta Bhave Apanate Bhakta Abhiman. The source of all incarnations has the emotions of a superior, where when he considers himself the master, and he has the emotions of an inferior when he considers himself a devotee. A fraction of a particular thing is called a part, and that from which the fraction is distinguished is called the whole. Therefore, the fraction or part is included within the whole. The Lord is the whole, and the devotee is the part or fractional part. That is the relationship between the Lord and devotee. There are also gradations of devotees who are calculated as greater or lesser. When a devotee is great, he is called Prabhu, and when he is lesser, he is called Bhakta, or a devotee. The supreme whole is Krishna, and Baladev and all Vishnu incarnations are his fractions. Lord Krishna is therefore conscious of his superior position, and all Vishnu incarnations are conscious of their positions as devotees. Krishnera samata hoite bora bhaktapad, atma hoite Krishner bhakta hoy premaspad. The position of being a devotee is higher than that of equality with Lord Krishna, for the devotees are dear to Lord Krishna than his own self. The consciousness of oneness with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is inferior to that of eternal service to the Lord, because Lord Krishna is more affectionate to devotees than to his personal self. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord clearly says, Sarava Hridayam Mayam Sarunam Hridayam Tvaham Mad Anyat Taneg Jananti Naham Tebyo Managapi. The devotees are my heart, and I am the heart of my devotees. My devotees do not know anything but me. Similarly, I do not know anyone but my devotees. That is the intimate relationship between the Lord and his devotees. Atma hoite Krishna bhakte morakore mane ihate bahuta shastra bachana pramane. Lord Krishna considers his devotees greater than himself. In this connection, the scriptures provide an abundance of evidence. Natatan me priya tama atma yonir nasankar shankaraha nacha sankarshano nashir naivatma cha yata bhavan. O Uddhava, neither Brahma nor Shankarshan, O Uddhava, neither Brahma nor Shankar, nor Shankarshan, nor Lakshmi, nor even my own self is as dear to me as you. Krishna samyena hitara madhurya svadan maktabhave koretara madhurya charvan. The sweetness of Lord Krishna is not to be tasted by those who consider themselves equal to Krishna. It is to be tasted only through the sentiment of servitude. Shastrara siddhanta e vigyara anubhav mudalok nahi jane bhavera maibhav. The conclusion of the revealed scriptures is also the realization of experienced devotees. Fools and rascals, however, cannot understand the opulences of devotional emotions. When a person is liberated in the sarupya form of liberation, having a spiritual form exactly like Vishnu, it is not possible for him to relish the relationship of Krishna's personal associates in their exchanges of mellows. The devotees of Krishna, however, in their loving relationships with Krishna, sometimes forget their own identities. Sometimes they think themselves one with Krishna and yet relish still greater transcendental mellow in that way. People in general, because of their foolishness, only try to become masters of everything, forgetting the transcendental mellow of servitorship to the Lord. When a person is actually advanced in spiritual understanding, however, he can accept the transcendental servitorship of the Lord without hesitation. So here it says, the devotees of Krishna, however, in their loving relationships with Krishna, sometimes forget their own identities. Sometimes they think themselves one with Krishna and yet relish still greater transcendental transcendental mellow in that way. So when sometimes the gopis would do like that, they'd say, I'm Krishna. Now watch as I throttle this foolish snake. And about Kaliya. And sometimes they say, now I'm Krishna, I'm holding up the Govardhan hill. Now you can all come underneath this hill. And they would remember Krishna, but they would forget their own identities and say like that. Bhakta Bhava Anu Angikare Balarama Lakman Advaita Nityananda Sesha Sankarshan Krishna Madhurya Rasamrita Koriban Se Suke Mata Kichu Nahi Jane An Baladev, Lakshman, Adwaita Acharya, Lord Nityananda, Lord Sesha, and Lord Shankarshan taste the nectarian mellows of the transcendental bliss of Lord Krishna by recognizing themselves as being his devotees and servants. They are all mad with that happiness and they know nothing else. Anyera achukarya apane Sri Krishna apana madhurya pane hoila satrishna. What to speak of others? Even Lord Krishna himself becomes thirsty to taste his own sweetness. Swamadhurya ashwarite korana jatan bhakta bhava binu nahe taha ashradan. He tries to taste his own sweetness, but he cannot do so without accepting the emotions of a devotee. Lord Sri Krishna wanted to relish the transcendental mellow of a devotee, and therefore accepted the role of a devotee by appearing as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bhakta bhava Angikori Koila Avatirna Sri Krishna Chaitanya Rupe Sarva Bhabe Purna. Therefore, Lord Krishna accepted the position of a devotee and descended in the form of Lord Chaitanya, who is complete in every respect. Nana Bhakta Bhave Koren Swamadhuryapan Purve Kori Chachi E Siddhanta Bhyakyan. He tastes his own sweetness through the various emotions of a devotee. He tastes his own sweetness through the various emotions of a devotee. I have formally explained this conclusion. Lord Chaitanya, who is known as Sri Gaurahari, is complete in relishing all the different mellows, namely neutrality, servitorship, fraternity, parental affection, and conjugal love. By accepting the ecstasy of different grades of devotees, he is complete in relishing all the mellows of these relationships. Avatar Ganer Bhakta Bhavi Adhikar Bhakta Bhava Hoite Adhika Shuka Nahi Ar. All the incarnations are entitled to the emotions of devotees. There is no higher bliss than this. All the different incarnations of Lord Vishnu have the right to play the roles of servitors of Lord Krishna by descending as devotees. When an incarnation gives up the understanding of his Godhead and plays the part of a servitor, he enjoys a greater taste of transcendental mellows than when he plays the part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mula Bhakta Avatara Sri Shankarshan Bhakta Avatara Tahi Advaita Ganan. The original Bhakta Avatar is Sankarshan. Sri Adwaita is counted among such incarnations. Although Sri Adwaita Prabhu belongs to the Vishnu category, he displays servitorship to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as one of his associates. When Lord Vishnu appears as a servitor, he is called an incarnation of a devotee of Lord Krishna. Sri Shankarshan, who is an incarnation of Vishnu in the spiritual sky known as the Greater Vaikuntha, is the chief of the quadruple incarnations, and he is the original incarnation of a devotee. Lord Maha-Vishnu, who is lying on the causal ocean, is a manifestation of Shankarshan. He is the original personality of Godhead who glances over the material and efficient he is the original personality of Godhead who glances over the material and efficient causes of the cosmic manifestation. Advaita Prabhu is accepted as the incarnation of Maha-Vishnu. All the plenary manifestations of Shankarshan are indirect expansions of Lord Krishna. That consideration also makes Advaita Prabhu an eternal servitor of Gaura Krishna. Therefore, he is accepted as a devotee incarnation. Advaita Acharya Gosaira Mahima Apar Jahara Hunkare Koila Chaitanya Avatar. The glories of Sri Adwaita Acharya are boundless, for his sincere vibrations brought about Lord Chaitanya's descent upon this earth. Sankirtana Prachariya Sab Jagat Tarila Advaita Prasade Lok Prema Danapaila. He liberated the universe by preaching Sankirtan. Thus the people of the world received the treasure of love of Godhead through the mercy of Sri Adwaita. Advaita Mahima Ananta Ke Pare Kohite Se Liki Jai Shuni Mahajana Hoite. Who can describe the unlimited glories of Advaita Acharya? I write here as much as I have known from great authorities. Acharya Charane Mor Koti Namaskar Ite Kichu Aparara Na Labe Amar. I offer my obeisances 10 million times to the lotus feet of Sri Adwaita Acharya. Please do not take offense at this. Tomara Mahima Koti Samudra Agada Tahara Iyata Kohe Ebora Aparad. Your glories are as fathomless as millions of oceans and seas. Speaking of its measure is a great offense indeed. Jaya 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 Sri Adwaita Acharya, Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Arya. All glories to Sri Adwaita Acharya, all glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the superior Lord Nityananda. Dui Shloke Kohila Advaita Tattva Nirupan Pancha Tattvara Bichar Kichu Shuna Bhaktagan. Thus in 2 verses I have described the truth concerning Advaita Acharya. Now, O devotees, please hear about the 5 truths Pancha Tattva. Shri Rupa Raghunath Parijara Ash Chaitanya Charitamrita Kohe Krishnadas. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, falling in their footsteps. Thus then the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi-lila, 6th chapter, describing the glories of Sri Adwaita Acharya. So the 2 verses that describe the glories of Sri Adwaita Acharya, they're in the Mangala Charan, the first 14 verses of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So those verses are. Maha-Vishnu Jagat Karta Maya Sri Jatiyada Tashavatara Evayam Advaita Acharya Ishvara. Lord Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Maha-Vishnu, whose main function is to create the cosmic world through the actions of Maya. Advaitam Harin Nadvaitad Acharyam Bhakti Samsanat Bhaktavataram Isham Tam Advaita Acharyam Ashray. Because he is non-different from Hari, the Supreme Lord, he is called Advaita. And because he propagates the cult of devotion, he is called Acharya. He is the Lord in the incarnation of the Lord's devotees. The incarnation of the Lord's devotee. Therefore, I take shelter of him. Because he is non-different from the Lord, the Supreme Lord, he is called Adwaita, and because he propagates the cult of devotion, he is called Acharya. He is the Lord and the incarnation of the Lord's devotee. Therefore, I take shelter of him. So when we speak of words, we talk about denotation and connotation. So the denotation may be the literal dictionary definition of a word, and the connotation is what the word can sometimes, the connotation is like what the word can evoke to people. So the denotation of cult is nice. It's dealing with a cult of devotion. Just means cult is related to culture, and it has actually a nice meaning, but the connotation is negative. When you say, oh, he's a cultist, or he belongs to a cult, that has a negative connotation. And sometimes they'll disparage the devotees by saying they belong to a cult. But I'm personally, I'm not disturbed by that, because connotations, people's use of words changes continually. It's a societal reaction. So, but the etymology of words that's another thing. That's one thing. And now, in the next chapter, which we'll be reading, which will be Adi-lila chapter 7, it deals with the Panchatattva. The actual title here Prabhupada is given, Lord Chaitanya and 5 features. And I always find this chapter to be amazing, the Panchatattva chapter, the Lord in 5 features. Actually, when Prabhupada began publishing the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that was the first book that came out, starting with Adi-lila chapter 7, the Lord in 5 features. Then later, the first 6 chapters of Chaitanya Charitamrita came out. But Prabhupada actually started out, for one reason or another, publishing that Panchatattva chapter first. And what's also amazing is, actually, when you read the beginning of Adi-lila, Srila Maharaj has commented that it's giving ontology, and it's giving you a background to understand what all the Chaitanya Lila is. And the Chaitanya Lila actually, when say, begins with the Lord's birth or appearance in chapter 13 of the Adi-lila. So that's when the Lila begins. But the chapter 7, which is about the Panchatattva, the Lord appears in chapter 13, but in chapter 7, the Panchatattva go, and they go to Benares, they go to Varanasi, and there they meet with the Mayavadi sannyasis led by Prakashananda Saraswati, and Mahaprabhu converts all the Mayavadi sannyasis. And then it describes how that Benares, which was always like a hold for all the Mayavadis, so many Mayavadis, they all became devotees, and it's described it after Mahaprabhu, it became like Navadip. Now maybe it didn't stay like Navadip, because we still find it as a Mayavad stronghold. But it's interesting, and it's the description of the activities of Mahaprabhu and the Panchatattva in Varanasi, very beautiful. But that's 6 chapters before Mahaprabhu's even birth or appearance. So it's very interesting. It's like a chapter that's almost out of time in happening, and very beautiful. and very captivating to everyone. Then you have chapter 7, the Panchatattva, and then chapter 8, I believe, begins describing the tree of Lord Chaitanya. And then you have the tree of the tree it says Adwaita Acharya and Nityananda. The trunk of Lord Chaitanya divides into 2 trunks. It becomes joined as 2 trunks, and that's Nityananda Prabhu and Adwaita Acharya. And then the further devotees of the Lord, like Gadadhar Pandan and Srivas, all of them are branches, and they have the branches and sub-branches, and they have all their devotees. So then, starting with chapter 8, you hear about all the different devotees who are considered devotees of Mahaprabhu, devotees of Nityananda Prabhu, and devotees of Adwaita Acharya, and then devotees of Srivas, devotees of all the different followers of Mahaprabhu. And that's to me also very interesting, because
can you help remind me or us of, okay, so there's, I know it's in the Brahma Samhita, but the different expansions of Lord Vishnu, there's Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Anirudh. Am I missing one?
Vasudev.
Vasudev. And can you just help remind, do they go in a particular order?
Well, first is Balaram, then comes Mahashankarshan, and then from Mahashankarshan there's the first quadruple expansions. There's Shankarshan, Pradyumna, Anirudh, and Vasudev. Then there's a second quadruple expansion of the same names, Shankarshan, Pradyumna, Anirudh, and Vasudev. Then there's further expansions, comes the Purusha avatars, Maha-Vishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and Kshirodakshai Vishnu. And then there are further expansions, like it said Maha-Vishnu, he is like the super soul of the aggregate of universes. And then Garbhodakshai Vishnu is a super soul of the universe. And then Kshirodakshai Vishnu is the super soul who enters into the hearts of all living entities. And it said he's also in the atoms, in the heart of the atom and everything like that. Then from that Kshirodakshai Vishnu, I guess, come Lila avatars, and there's Manvantara avatars and Guna avatars and all these. And and also there's all these expansions I said, and we also have to see that the Seshanaga and all that. And then it says that the Lord that there's expansions or the incarnation, and it takes all kinds of different forms, like Simasan, shoes, so many things. Lord expands himself. So what I also like is in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mahaprabhu is instructing Sanatana Goswami about the different expansions of the Lord, and he's explaining them. And some people will say, "Oh well, how can Mahaprabhu be the Lord when there is no appearance of the Lord in Kali Yuga?" Now that part I'm not able to comment so well on that, but it in Mahaprabhu, but it does comment, well, there may not be any Leela avatars in Kali Yuga, and the Lord is known as Triyuga. But there are always Yuga avatars in all the four Yugas. So then Mahaprabhu is explaining the Yuga avatars to Sanatana Goswami. And then he's going to go on, I think, to the Manvantara avatars, but then Sanatana Goswami stops him, and Sanatana Goswami says, well, wait a minute, I want to get this clear. Can you explain about the Yuga avatar for this age? As far as I understand, and he doesn't say like you, but he's meaning this. As far as I understand, he's Pita color. He's like yellow in color, like you. And he spreads the Sankirtan movement everywhere, like you. Now let me get this straight. Is that the description of the Yuga avatar for Kali Yuga? That he's golden color like you, and he spreads the Sankirtan movement like you. Am I right? And then Mahaprabhu says to him, Sanatan, please stop with all your clever tricks. He tells him like that. And then he says, now we're going to go on with the further descriptions of the Manvantara avatars.
Maharaj, when they're describing Adwaita Acharya as an expansion of Sankarshan, this is one.
As an he's described as an expansion of Maha-Vishnu.
Maha-Vishnu.
Yeah.
And is that what you meant when you said the Maha-Sankarshan? No, Maha-Vishnu.
Maha-Vishnu.
Origin.
Yeah, Maha-Shankarshan refers to expansions of, it's more said to be Balaram.
And how can I remember some sort of reference of Adwaita Acharya, and I'm a little confused here, either being Vyasadev, or did I hear, no, not.
I just said Maha-Vishnu, I don't know. You can just read, you can just go back and read through the Adi-lila. So
Yeah,
sometimes,
I thought I heard it in the teachings of Bhakti.
but there are other aspects of things that get very, very, very detailed. And I don't really try to follow all the details when they talk about the Shri and the Bhu potencies and all these kind of things. That's like sometimes described. Now, one book that I mentioned to you, the Nectar of Devotion, because that's a resume, part of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. But it's only a part, it's not all. It's only a part of that. And there was one, I think it's also a part, but there is a Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that was published by Bon Maharaj in English. I may have a copy of that, but I don't believe that's complete either. But it's an interesting. Bon Maharaj was a scholar, so anyway, I'll sing Hari Haraya. This clock is very dark. It's hard to sometimes see.
Would you like me to do a little art project and paint the little design gold?
What?
Should I paint it in gold so the little design brightens it up?
Yeah, but if you painted it gold, it's not a bad idea, but it'll be even harder to read because it'll be gold against gold.
Oh yeah. Maybe should I paint it white?
No, aquí está, es para devolverlo. Es que lo compró la caja y la factura para devolverlo.
It's okay. I think it's better to get another clock. But what I want to put in here is the clock that's in the kitchen. And we'll get another clock for the kitchen. Because yesterday, I saw the clock in the kitchen in here. And after we finished the class, you can see that. I thought it looked very good. It's not as big as this, but it's very easy to see and has a second hand on it, whereas this does not. I don't know if that means anything. Having a second hand, we're not timing cooking cooking or anything, but Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Nama Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Madanaman Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Adwaita Acharya Janardan Seva Sadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raguna Shri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasa Raguna Jai Gosai Kori Charana Banan Jaite Vignana Shami Sapuran Jai Gosai Kori Charana Banan Jaite Vignana Shami Sapuran Jai Gosai Jar Mui Taradan Tasamar Pada Renu Mora Panchaga Tare Archana Sevi Bhakta Saniba Janame Janame More Abhilas Jai Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majjayaman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyan Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Naradamura Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Jai Sa Parikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Tilak Neriha Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmawacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajaka Charyashta Tara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajaka Charyashta Tara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivedanta Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Marga Ki Jai. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunashi Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Prem Se Go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Adwaita Acharya Harshivasani Shri Gaura Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai. Vishvavaranya Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupad Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Kushamashram Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Namadip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Ki Jai. Saparshada Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshada Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Shri Koladvip Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Govardhan. Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Jo Ki Jai. Shri Purushottam Dham Ki Jai. Baladev Subhadra Jagannath Jo Ki Jai. Bhakti Vigna Vinashaya Shina Shingadev Ki Jai. Bhakta Prabhara Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Shri Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupad Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Jai Om Vishnu Paramahansa Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj Ki